Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. And listen, pardon the red face and the sweat. I just finished working out. I didn't realize. I'm like, oh, I got time. Holy shit, it's 3 minutes after. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We super appreciate it. Thanks to Everborn Saga. We got some breaking news now. It's a bit slanderous. So, of course, my co-host here, Mr. Slander, when he needs to have it himself, C Money. What's up, brother? We haven't worked together. Actually, this is the first time in like 3 weeks because last week we both took off because we had, personal stuff. I had a doctor's appointment, and the week before, unfortunately, family stuff. So it's great to have you back. How are you,
Oh,
man?
yeah. Been good, man. Been good. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday, 15. Crazy how time
Wow,
has
50. I'm,
yeah,
I'm
time
sure
has
that you
flew,
think
bro.
about that and it makes you want to cry as a dad because you remember holding her in your arms with as a little
Yeah.
peanut, and now she's 15. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like, they're not little anymore, like the big ones.
Yes.
Like, my kid is learning how to drive right now.
Oh
It's
wow.
crazy, my older one. So it's like, dude, time fucking flew, bro. It's insane. It's insane,
Yeah.
but everything else is good, man. A lot of fun news going on. We haven't had a show for gaming since Sunday, so I'm itching to talk about it.
Well,
So
folks, I'm here to tell you something that this is breaking again. This comes the way of Derek Strickland of Tweaktown. He just posted this. It's at Deke Tweak on Twitter. Now, obviously, he is the head of that organization known as Tweaktown. Sometimes they have stuff that's worth reading. Sometimes they don't. Well, this is one of those situations that I think if you are an Xbox fan, you are smiling because what he said here is, I think, the future. I think it's the future that is happening. I think that you're going to see more of this continue to happen when older IPs continue. Like, for instance, Fallout has this massive resurgence because of the show that was amazing, right? So Fallout
right.
76 saw the biggest numbers in the history of the actual IP over the last weekend. You've had people like myself run back to Fallout 4. And I really, like I said, sometimes I want to punch myself because I really wanted to start it with the new update that's coming
Yeah, I'm
next week.
waiting till the 25th, baby.
And I couldn't wait because I was so wrapped up and swept up into the hype of Fallout. I'm like, I just want to play an hour. And then an hour turned into 3 hours. Now I'm 5 hours in, and I'm like, God, I gotta stop. I gotta just stop. So, what am I
Yeah.
talking about, folks? This literally was just posted at 11:18 a.m. By again Derek Strickland, and this is the tweet, folks. Microsoft currently has more games on PlayStation Store's top 25 best-selling list than Sony does. The list includes two Fallout games and two first-party Microsoft titles that were previously only available on Xbox. That is striking. And I think that, folks, this is what it is. It's happening. Microsoft, again,
It is.
we, C and I, we don't care, right? We're not getting any money. That's the truth of the matter is. But when you look at how Xbox was shunned for putting games on PC, and obviously, I'm not going to sit here in front. I still have an issue with some of the moves they made with putting other games onto PlayStation. I'm an old man. I'm an old guard. I understand it. I don't apologize for it, but I understand the business. But this is really interesting because this list, and we're going to get to it right now. I literally have the article in front of me, and it goes on to say, let me see, now on to the data. Now he puts the data here for everyone to see. And these are I'm going to read you the list verbatim, see, and then let you jump in. According to this list that he put together, it's 25 games. He does
Mhm.
have a graphic here, and the pie chart. The largest portion of this pie chart, which you know what, once you get talking, I'm going to bring it up on screen so everyone can see. I'll do a live feed. Is Microsoft, followed by Sony, Take Two, and EA. So this is the actual breakdown, folks. Of the top 25 games on PlayStation, Microsoft has 7 of them. Sony has 5 of them. Take Two has 3, and EA has 3. And the percentage breakdown is 28% for Microsoft, 20% for Sony, 12% for Take Two, 12% for EA. And here is the list. Fortnite, now again from 1 to 25 in order. Fortnite, Call of Duty, NBA 2K24, MLB The Show, Madden 24, Helldivers 2, Overwatch 2, EA Sports FC 24, WWE 24, GTA 5, no surprise there, Roblox, Sea of Thieves, Rainbow Six Siege, Destiny 2, Apex Legends, Fallout 4, Ankaya Star Rail, which I never heard of, Dragon's Dogma 2, Minecraft, Fallout 76, Genshin Impact, Stellar Blade, Grounded, and Rise of the Ronin, and finally at 25, Smite 2. Wow, dude. Like, I mean, what could you honestly
Dude,
say?
Rise of the Ronin 24?
Yeah. Hmm.
24, brand new game,
Yeah.
exclusive to PlayStation.
While you give your hot take on this shocking news, because that's what it is. Obviously, Grounded's not out yet. Sea of Thieves isn't out yet. Minecraft is a constant. Call of Duty, obviously, becoming first party was a huge deal, which is why they fought so hard to get it. It's going to be a bigger deal come this fall, especially for Xbox. But see, money. The times are changing. Obviously, I don't think many of the PlayStation proper are ready for the changes. Obviously, we've already seen on the socials that there is this massive pushback for Sony putting their games onto PC. We talked about it last night on Primetime Gaming that a lot of us believe that day and date, we don't think it's going to happen this year, it's almost positive that it's going to happen next year. We've had, again, what's going to be the first game? I mean, obviously there's a lot of choices, but we do think that it's around the corner. Let's get your hot take on this, man, while I do a screen share.
Yeah, I mean, well, number one, they ain't got no games coming out this year, so it'll be a little hard for them to go ahead and drop a day of date this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as the actual that list and Microsoft being such a big part of it, I mean, understand this is what they wanted. Right? This was their goal. This is what they're striving for, right? Like this is exactly what they want to have happen here. Um, so at the end of the day, these are why you see Microsoft making the moves that they've been making, because again, they are getting it from everywhere, right? They're taking whatever money can come and they're doing it in a way where they can still give us Xbox owners and PC Xbox owners the games that we want coming into Game Pass, first party bangers that are coming while not really affecting us. Again, and look at something like Sea of Thieves, man. Like Sea of Thieves is number 12 in like compared to Call of Duties and NBAs and Maddens,
And
right?
we're
Like
going to
this is
segue into that because a little something happened yesterday that we saw a narrative running that somehow PlayStation was responsible in some way for the 40 million number. Folks, that's not what happened. 40 million players, all Xbox and all PC.
all Xbox
That
PC,
number is without PlayStation, just looking
which
at this
obviously
list,
yes.
it's going to be big, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. It's huge that this is a Microsoft property that's on there and it's taking over, right? And again, you just look at the list, look at the pie chart, man. Microsoft is taking over. And you know what? Articles like this is what they want. Like understand that they're going beyond our little bubble, right? They want to make sure
Yep.
that everyone hears about Microsoft being the big dogs in gaming, right? Which will naturally lead over time to people saying, you know what, maybe let's just go the Xbox route, right? Like that's what they're hoping for. But I mean, look at this, man. You got Fallout games. Now, obviously, they had a big boost because of the show, but think about that for a second. They put out a show. Look at this list with Fallout's in there, right? I
Yeah.
mean, all in a time when PlayStation has nothing of value coming out in the foreseeable future, right? You know, like, it's nice to see, Helldivers, on this list, right? Like,
Yes,
it's
I
nice
agree.
that some people actually bought it, but even then, when you think about the numbers of that, this is this is, this is a game that's been out for a while, right? Like, it's been out for a while already, um, for something compared to, like, Sea of Thieves, which is 12 and it's, you know, just came out, right? Like I mean, I'm sorry, it's not even out. This is just the beta that just came out, right? Like
And can I add some context to that? Because you mentioned the beta, and I would have not even remembered this. Um, Folks, did you know that so many people signed up and were playing the beta for Sea of Thieves on PlayStation that it clogged up the servers, that they
oh
could
yeah.
not keep up with the demand? Think about that for a second. Now, granted, look, let's be clear. Sea of Thieves, not for me. You've heard my stories. I've tried it. I played the single player Pirates of the Caribbean. That was awesome. I have not tried the safer seas because I just, again, just time is really what it comes down to. And you got to dedicate time to that. And even though it's not for me, I am so excited for everyone who is going to currently enjoy it and continue to enjoy, but new players. But please continue.
I mean, but again, like look at that. This is 12 and it's just the beta. It hasn't been released. It's not something that people are just seeing popped up on their PlayStations saying, "Hey, out now, come try it out," right? Like that's going to be a huge thing, man. That damn game is going to jump up. And again, I don't coming from the Xbox perspective for me, like I'm not somebody who's going to sit there and you know really cry over something like that that I knew I wasn't taking a part of, and that I knew, it's all about them being able to keep it going, right? Again, Xbox being a dev, a consumer and dev first company, they want to make sure their devs are happy and Rare wants to keep making that game, right? So, this is all good news, man, for Microsoft, for us Xbox fans, because you got to remember, man, every dollar that comes in from all these other places are funding our games. They're funding our exclusives. They're funding our Game Pass, which I mean, they're not slowing down, fam. Like Game Pass is going and going, and it's outside of just Microsoft titles, dude. Like they're out here giving us third party day and dates on a constant. Like we keep seeing them from big companies to indies, right? Like we have, Capcom's bringing out that Path of the Goddess that looks crazy, right? It's day one Game Pass. And then you got a whole bunch of other of these smaller indie games that are coming day and date. I mean, like this is what gamers want on the Xbox side, right? Like this is what we've been looking for, and we've been getting it consistently. And again, this is a this is a snowball that's been going down the hill, and it's not stopping. Right? There's no cresting of this plateau. It's going to be going straight down, constantly getting bigger and bigger, giving us more and more. Um, and that's all we can ask for, man. Like that's
Yeah.
all we can ask for as gamers. And again, Microsoft is is setting the standard for what is expected in the gaming industry in my eyes. Like they're doing more and more where everybody else is like retracting, right? Like everybody else is going back or getting smaller or laying off more people or closing things. Like, we heard about Take Two and they, you know, guy got a raise, but then they also had to fire some people. Like this is why
5% of
my
the workforce, as a matter of fact. That's that story that you were talking about. Yeah, if you didn't know, folks, more bad news. 5% of
yep.
2K, of Take Two, they're laying off 5% of the workforce. Now, that may sound, 5%. The number has not been confirmed. That's a lot of people. That company is big. So
Yes.
again, not good.
Yeah, it's a problem, but I can tell you right now, it's everything is lining up for what I believe. I'm telling you, I think Take-Two is on the docket for Microsoft. I think they want to own it. See, this is what this pie right here, this pie, they want that to do nothing but get bigger, and that's why I'm telling you, man, Fortnite, they're gonna end up getting Epic. I believe it. I know it.
I
They wanna
mean,
own it. They wanna own the big names. That's what they're doing.
it's you're not look, I don't know. I'll put it to you this way. What you just said right now, if we go back 10 years, I would look at you and said, everyone lunatic right here, right? But then again, if you gave me 100 guesses, I would have never in my lifetime thought that Microsoft would have bought Activision Blizzard King. Like I would have been like, it wouldn't have been a choice, not even a thought, right? So by C Money saying that they want Epic, in my mind, I'm saying that's too big, right? That's just me, right? There's no
Mhm.
way. Then again, they bought Activision Blizzard King.
Yeah, they're not bigger,
Um,
right? They're not
uh,
bigger, than
Take
Activision
Two is
Blizzard.
another one. I think Take Two is massive, just based on the GTA franchise. I mean, there's no way. But isn't it? Isn't
They could
Call of
probably get both
Duty?
of them for the same price they got Activision for, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I think they're doing? And again, I don't want to turn this into an acquisition conversation, but it's a part of it. So let's continue it, C Money. And it's a great
Yeah,
point because I think that what you're laying down here is fact. Now, yes, it's hypothetical fact. And we know that Microsoft is trying to get bigger and better and own the industry. And how they're doing that is, well, right in front of us. And a lot of us, like
yep,
me, the old dogs, the old guard, right, who understands that my flaw is I can't accept certain franchises going over to other platforms. And I get that's my fault. I get that. What I also understand, though, even though I don't accept it, is that this is big business. And if Microsoft
very
puts
big
more of
business.
their games on more platforms, let's say like their competitors, Nintendo, and even though they say they're not competitors, Nintendo and PlayStation, what regulator is going to be like, oh, you can't own this? Well, we're keeping everything
That's
everywhere.
exactly
Look,
it.
look
That's
what we're do-
exactly
look
it.
what we've done. We have a 40 million player game that everyone booed. Everyone took a dump on at every chance. Oh, Rare, they lost their touch. They don't know what they're doing. Sea of Thieves sucks. 40 million players later, and that's not even counting PlayStation and Nintendo, which I think when it hits Nintendo, explosion on the scene. It's already exploding based on this. And here's the thing, C Money. Okay, it's not a free to play game. You have to buy the game, and
Facts.
there's multiple versions that you can buy. And same thing with Grounded. I would have thought for sure that they would have said, make these free to play because we're going to get more customers and microtransactions. No, they're selling the game and it's in their top 25. Big
Facts.
changes are coming. I don't think
Huge.
the PlayStation community is ready, bro. I just don't.
I mean, they're not, right? They're not. And, obviously you already see PlayStation, making the changes that they require, right? Like you talked about it, that you guys talked last night on it. PC, they're already setting it up. Like they have an overlay now for it. Um you're gonna be getting trophies and stuff
Yep.
on PC, right? Like they are making the necessary moves to do this. This is what they're doing. And it's going to change because they can't ignore it. They can't ignore it. There's too much money that's being left on the table, or theoretical money for them because they don't know how people are going to respond to it. But it's definitely going to respond way better when they release day and date than when they release years after, right? Um, so this is just inevitable, right? Like it's not even really a discussion of if, it's just when. And you can't think about it being this year because they have nothing coming this year unless Concord launches, which I feel like Concord might be the first one that drops both. Um, into PC and PlayStation. Um, but outside of that, like, listen, I don't like the whole point of what Microsoft is doing right now is again, when we look back a little while ago, we had that quote that Matt Booty was at that meeting, and he said that, "Listen, putting our games on PlayStation didn't damage the brand quite yet, but it did strain it, right?
Yeah.
It did put a lot of stress on the brand, which was his way of letting them know, like, if we keep going this route, then there's a problem. Something bad's going to come if we go too far into the IPs that people know and love for this console." So how do they do everything that they want? And it's by doing exactly what we were just talking about, which is purchasing the games that are already third party, that are already everywhere, that are already guaranteed to print money, and you purchase those, right? So you buy an Epic, you get Fortnite, right? Whatever else they have, IP in their store, all that shit, that's just extra, right? But you get Fortnite, that's your moneymaker. That's everywhere. That's keeping the stockholders happy at Microsoft because look, all the biggest games are everywhere. All the smaller games, and let's be clear, this is what Phil was talking about, right? Like it's going to become a smaller part of the pie because all the biggest games in the world are everywhere, right? That's just a fact of what it is.
Yeah.
Everything that it's exclusive is smaller. It's just the nature of the beast, right? It's just the way it is. So when you go ahead and you have these IPs that you now own that are guaranteed to be
Just money makers,
third
bro.
party,
They're
they're
literally
making money,
printing money, printing
dude.
money.
2K, if they buy Take Two, they get so many IP, not I mean, not dramatically a large amount, but they get a lot of IP that are money makers that they don't have to confine to a exclusive route, right? Grand Theft Auto, once that game releases, that's going to be the another 10 years of Grand Theft, just one game, right? Like that's what's going to be there. It's going to print money. It's whatever they do online is going to be crazy.
Mhm.
So like that's guaranteed. Then you got your yearly releases with NBA, right? NBA 2K. That's every year, bro. Prints money. People just this is what they do, right? And then you got any of their other big things, like they just buy Gearbox, right? So now they got Borderlands back, right? Like Borderlands typically is a pretty big game. I mean, I don't know how well 3 did. But Borderlands is a pretty good IP. If they go ahead and they release something worthwhile, I mean, it's going to be huge, right? They got that movie coming out. If that movie hits, I mean, there's a lot of space there for that to be huge. And again, no one's going to sit there and be like, "Yo, Borderlands is coming out on PlayStation." What? They own them and they're putting out no, because this is what we've been trained so far. And honestly, I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Game Pass essentially is a huge exclusive for us, right? Like if you're Xbox, if you're PC, you got Game Pass. I mean, honestly, when a game comes out on Game Pass, like, I don't look for it anywhere else, right? Like, it doesn't matter to me that Flintlock, whatever the hell, is gonna be coming to whatever console it comes to, if it's coming to PlayStation or not. I don't even know if it's coming over there. It doesn't matter. I know it's coming to Game Pass, so that's all I'm worried about, right? I know I got that game for free, right? Just like every other game that's coming to Game Pass. Times change, right? You move on with the times and you see what's going on, and at the end of the day, Microsoft is not changing their exclusive, um process, right? You're still gonna have your Halo, all the big IP that is Microsoft, that is Xbox, that's gonna stay. That's gonna stay. The part that's changing for them is that they will own IP that exists everywhere. And now it's no longer a situation where if Xbox owns it or if Microsoft owns it, it's exclusive. That's just not going to be the case, right? When they go and they buy these other places, these huge, publishers, um, you're going to be understanding that they're purchasing a publisher who has games everywhere, and they're gonna keep it that way. If it's a publisher who only makes smaller, single player experiences, um, like maybe like a Focus Interactive, right? If they went and bought them or something like that, yeah, that might be more of an exclusive play, right? Because you can go ahead and get some of these, what's the I love the damn Plague's Tale, like the Plagues, Requiem, all that stuff, right? They'll get something like that, and that's huge if they were to buy somebody like that, right? But that's exclusive. That's small. that they could decide to make that exclusive, but it's just it's based off the scale of what they're buying. Just understanding that if they're buying something big, they're gonna get approved to buy it because they're gonna keep everything everywhere. They're not gonna change it, and they're gonna show through Call of Duty that they're not changing it. It really is a best of both worlds scenario. We get the game exclusively as far as free. We're the only we're the only place that's getting these games free. That's the exclusive on Game Pass. Um, but like I see in Whole Grain Bread putting out there that the Elder Scroll 6, yeah, that's going to be exclusive, right? That's a the way I see that
Dude,
game.
that's going to be a launch title. I honestly
Yes,
believe, even
yes,
though we
yes.
haven't heard much about it, that's going to be one of those games that's a launch title for
I
the
agree
next
100%.
console. I think so anyway.
I agree. I agree 100%. I just think that it's the future of Xbox to have the mix, right? It's just gonna be, you're gonna have the games that are gonna be like, cultural touchstones for Xbox that you can't put anywhere else, like a Halo or a Gears. That stuff is not going anywhere. And new games that are of that ilk, like honestly, Starfield, I feel like very quickly has become a franchise that is an Xbox franchise. Like it's not a let's put it on PlayStation franchise. It's just not going to be. I mean, sadly for PlayStation dudes, they don't make their case. They don't really like make a case for games going over there anyway, right? Outside of the multiplayer stuff that's been released, which is Sea of Thieves that hasn't even come out yet, but that's what's up there, right? Hi-Fi Rush, great game, nothing, right? We haven't heard anything.
Nope.
Nobody's touting big numbers, nothing. Pentiment, we know, did nothing, right?
Yep.
Sure, obviously, you put a bigger game over there, will it have a bigger bump? Maybe, but then you look at something like Final Fantasy that's supposed to be this humongous IP that, boom, you yourself say you love Final Fantasy, right? And then it's like, who showed up for it, right? Like, this is
2 million people did.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
who showed up. 2 million.
Out of 50 out of 54 million boxes that are out there, 2 million showed up, which was less than every other previous one. It's not looking good, right? Like, and again, if that was a, one-off, it would be like, well, yeah, Final Fantasy, but look at this game. Well, no, what's the other game, right? Every exclusive they had this year has done nothing. Every
Yep.
single one.
Yeah.
That and these are supposedly big exclusives, right? Like, people were pumped about Rise of the Ronin, and now what happened?
Yeah,
They're in the
they
same
took massive
situation.
losses on that.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're getting that Sony tax, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's funny, like, we have the Xbox tax dealing with media. Developers have a Sony tax that they pay for going exclusive to Sony. Every single one of them regrets it after the fact. I mean, it's crazy. So, like, this is what's happening. I I I just think that at the end of the day, Phil played the right game, right? He did it the right way. He took
Yep.
two games that were critical darlings, right? Like Pentiment, highly rated. Uh um why I see it's like dead to
I
me now. Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi
It's like you
Rush.
went
Yeah,
over
another
there, it's
very,
whatever.
very well-rated game as well. Yeah, absolutely high
Well-rated game,
rated.
and like not just critical, right? Like the players loved it, right? The people who played it loved it. It's just that a lot of people didn't play it, right? So but you took them over there and boom, nothing, right? No one's talking about these things. You don't see PlayStation dudes talking about Hi-Fi Rush. You don't see them talking about Pentiment. So it really becomes a situation is like, why would we do that? And again, doubles back to Matt Booty saying that this like strained the brand, but it didn't damage it. You keep going, now you start getting it to damaging, right? And
I
you don't
agree.
want to do that.
Right.
So
Look, I'll say this before we move on to the obviously the one of the well, I mean, two big topics for today. We're going to get to the Sea of Thieves hits 40 million players and why that's important. But what I agree. Me personally, I think it did more. When you talk about Xbox, I look at it from a multiple angles. I don't really care so much about the business because it doesn't affect me. Like what affects me is my pocket. And the more that they make, the more they can invest in the Game Pass. The more games go into Game Pass, the more value Game Pass becomes to me as a customer. That's why I care. But stressing the brand doesn't just mean the platform. It does mean the community. The community right now is fractured, and it's sad. And that's why on this show, I try to bring as much positivity to bring in smiles and laughter because that's what this community needs. This community was so tight. Everyone was arm in arm. Everyone was enjoying each other as a company, playing games, laughing, joking, showing up to these podcasts, and just hashtag winning, right? And something happened where Microsoft, the bean counters, made a decision where I think that they were wrong. They could have waited because they have the Minecraft money, right? They have the Call of Duty money. They have all these other big IPs that are on multiple platforms that they're literally just printing money. There was no need to muck up, and that's with an M, not an F, muck up the way things were going. They could have introduced a Hi-Fi Rush at a later time because look what it did. What they did with Hi-Fi Rush and putting it out on PlayStation for the little money they got. I don't even think it sold 1 million. And you know why I think that is? Because Xbox, the same as Sony, when the numbers are bad, they don't talk about it. And nobody knows the numbers. But all you can do is look over and guess. Now, is it a critical darling? Yes. Is it on a crazy, awesome new IP? 100%. But I think that was the one. Now, listen, again, the mileage may vary on what I'm saying, whether you agree or disagree. It's fine. But that's just my personal thoughts on it. C-Money, I definitely want to get over to the big topic, which is Sea of Thieves hitting 40 million. But before I do, I got to catch up, man. There's a lot of super chats here. First of all, B. Martin, 001 has gifted 5 double barrel gaming memberships. Dude, that is just crazy generous. And I think you did it yesterday as well. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I mean, that's unbelievable. We are incredibly humbled by the support. And again, it's just going to allow us to do some big things. Big giveaways are something that Mrs. Boom and I really kind of strive to do. And we have some really big ones coming up. And all of these super chats, all of these channel memberships, that's where they go, unless we need like artwork and we have to pay for that and we need equipment. And thankfully, the equipment that we currently have, everything is running tip top, but you just never know. But we do invest back into the channel. So B Martin 001, thank you so much for that. Jonas the Dad, another generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, ponies will feel that Xbox tax 80% of Call of Duty to Xbox. Okay, so I think what they did, and this is what kind of freaked me out a little bit about the way Sony was, kind of bitching about the whole deal. It's not 80%. Microsoft is going to allow them to keep 30. They're actually making more money now with it being Microsoft owned as opposed to Activision owned, because Activision had an 80-20 split. The normal number is 70-30. And it went back to that. So they're actually making more money. They're just not going to have the marketing. So shout out to you, Jonas. Appreciate the generosity. Adidas 20, he drops a very generous $5 super chat. And he says, Mustard Man and Dr. Pepper, good morning.
What's up?
I love it, brother. Adidas. Thank you. Yes, I that's my drink of choice. I do like ginger ale with a little lime because I don't drink, folks. It's just not my bag. But if I am going to have a drink with you, I will, clink glasses, except I'm just going to have a ginger ale with lime or Dr. Pepper. I'm boring. We have Helava, who's been a channel member for 31 months. Dude, that is amazing. Thank you so much for the support. He doesn't even say anything, so I'll say something to you. Dude, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being here in the chat. Thank you for the generosity. We truly appreciate it. We also have here Jacob Novick, who drops a very generous $10 super chat. He goes on to say this: Gears, Grounded, and more is all being made into series and movies by Xbox. The Minecraft movie did wrap filming a few days ago. I think Xbox will create an XCU, makes a lot of sense, and turn more IPs into media. Look, I think we talked about it last week. I don't remember what episode it was about the whole transmedia thing. it's super important. I mean, Sony, obviously they had the Uncharted film. Me and Mrs. Boom actually really liked it. I know a lot of
Oh
people
yeah,
like, oh no, it wasn't that good. I had fun. I had fun with it. That's what you're supposed to do.
so
Just
did
have fun
I.
with the films, right?
So did
Last
I.
of Us, tip of the spear, amazing. I've already told the story. Mrs. Boom and I, we were emotional. Like honestly, in some of those episodes, so good. They have God of War that's in production. I don't know. I don't remember who that's from. I think Amazon is doing Horizon, if I'm not mistaken. Those are pretty big IPs. Obviously, they had Twisted Metal, which was on Peacock. It got greenlit for season 2. I haven't seen it as of yet. I've talked to people that said it was absolutely amazing. That Mackie was phenomenal in there. So I want to check that out. So yeah, this is we're starting to see Microsoft. They dipped their toe a little bit, and it was not so great with Halo season 1 because they didn't enforce you having to actually make the thing on the game. I don't know. What a revelation.
Season one was good, man.
No, season 1 was
It
good.
was
It
good.
wasn't great. The opening, the first episode was just like, oh my god, if this is going to be the season, this is crazy. And it was okay. But season 2, banger. Obviously, Fallout, banger. Look for the credits at the end. I don't want no spoilers here, folks. The end credits for Fallout got me so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe what's happening." And there's
Don't
actually
tell
a
me.
hint in episode 7 with someone wearing a specific mask, and you're like, the minute I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" No spoilers here, folks, because a lot of people haven't had a chance to watch it, but please watch
Mhm.
that show. Let's see, we have Andre Doyle dropped a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, "What's up, y'all? Awesome show. Thank you so much, Andre. Appreciate that. Playing a ton of Halo Infinite, Call of Duty, Diablo 4, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden is phenomenal. That's a great game. Still, and finally, Alan Wake 2 on my new PC. Yeah, I couldn't get into Alan Wake, man. Those in the mind rooms with the having to do the clues and stuff. I just want
You
to shoot
know,
things.
it gets better later, but I also don't like that whole having to
I was
play
just
more
putting
to
things
get
anywhere
into
just to
it.
get it to stick like this.
Yeah,
And I was
it
done. I was like,
it definitely
okay.
be it never becomes something that it's like you're actually thinking of. Like I'm literally it's like, okay, well then this should go somewhere around here, and you just kind of click, take back
That's what
just
I
to get you
did.
to the
Yeah.
next one. But
Yeah.
it becomes less, I think. So
Well,
I
listen,
didn't finish it yet, but I'm
yeah,
definitely
I
gonna try
wanted
it.
Alan Wake
Look for it.
1 with Alan Wake 2 graphics, and I would have been okay
Yes.
with it. A separate character because the FBI
And like the
agent, she's
continuation
phenomenal.
of the story, like, right? Like I feel like they went in a different direction. I mean,
I
technically,
feel like
it's,
I'm missing something.
continuing.
That's
Well,
what I
the
walked
game
away
ended
with.
with her being like, you still didn't get her, right? Like, that's the first one. That's the way the game ended. Like, she
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
still in the lake or something like that should have been, let's dive right back into that. But it's has other things going on. I like the game. It's not the game that I would have chosen to be made,
Yeah.
but I still appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, folks, listen. Let's get into the nitty gritty, if you will. I have the official presser from Rare Ltd on Twitter, and they announced yesterday, C Money, that Sea of Thieves has more than 40 million pirates and that have set sail on the sea. Okay, so let me read it verbatim. More than 40 million pirates have set sail on Sea of Thieves. That's going to be quite the tavern tab. The megalodon sized thank you to everyone who's joined us so far. Enjoy some words from our very own Joe Neat to mark the occasion. And let's see, and I have the thing in front of me here. So I want to let me officially read the post because I think that there's a lot of context here, folks. So bear with me. Um, the actual press release from Sea of Thieves at their website says Sea of Thieves welcomes 40 million players, celebrating a phenomenal fleet of Xbox and PC pirates who've set sail since launch. And this comes the way of Joe Three Sheets Neat, executive producer. And he posted this obviously on April 16th. He goes on to say, as I'm sure you can imagine, when it comes to Sea of Thieves, my days are full of numbers. Development costs, active servers, days until next update. Sometimes, though, a truly extraordinary number stands out. A number like 40 million, which I'm incredibly pleased to say is the number of pirates who have now set sail in Sea of Thieves. 40 million players across Xbox, Windows 10, and Steam is an amazing milestone to be able to talk about. And of course, it wouldn't have happened without you, our brilliant, positive, and welcoming community. Well, not so much when I got robbed, but it's fine. Who continue to surprise and impress us with your creativity and antics out on the waves. So again, it's a bit lengthy. I'm just going to read the last part of it, folks. And again, I'll add this to the show notes so you can check it out, the presser yourself. He goes on to say in closing, before then, though, there's time to celebrate this 40 million milestone during our imminent Gold and Glory weekend. If you're still working through seasons 11's 100 levels, this will be a perfect time to rake in that boosted renown, along with gold, reputation, and everything else. So take part, join us in both celebration of all of our players and anticipation of those who are about to undertake their maiden voyage on PlayStation 5. We'll see you on the seas. Now, okay, so C Money, why this is a big deal is one, it is a game that is releasing on the PlayStation 5. It is in their top 25 of most anticipated and paid for games. It is a game that is not free to play, that you have to buy at least the $40 edition. There are more editions that you can buy. I think there's a total of 3, if I'm not mistaken. With that said, 40 million plus players across Steam, across Windows 10 and Xbox is bananas. Because, and again, this is not to be scandalous. This is just to be, let's compare apples to oranges here. Does PlayStation currently have a game with 40 million players? The answer is they don't. Okay. God of War, Spider-Man might be 30, but it's not 40. God of War, 2018, might be 25, might be 30, but it's not 40. That is a big deal. And this is a game that most PlayStation players shunned and made fun of and did videos and had podcasts saying how terrible of an idea this was and how no one is playing it and that it's not content friendly. And look where it is now. All of those years later, it is now 40 million plus players strong. And has not even released onto PlayStation 5, which, of course, thanks to the reminder that you said earlier, oh, by the way, the beta gummed up their servers to the point where there was so much interest in this game, C-Money, that the 40 million is going to balloon multiple times, and it's going to keep growing, and it's going to be, I think we're again, this is just speculation, but if you look at the way Minecraft started, look where Minecraft is now. You don't think that once this is available everywhere, that this thing is not going to balloon to 100 million players between the platforms? It's inevitable.
No, you could see it with what just happened, because let's understand something, right? It was just at 35 like a couple months ago. They
Yeah.
announced the
I'll
35.
get the exact date. Hold on just a second. Let me get the exact date.
So
No,
you imagine,
continue.
so you imagine that just them announcing that it was going everywhere or that it was coming to PlayStation spurred more interest in the Xbox and PC versions of it. Like, that's crazy. Just putting it back out there in a meaningful way. Like 5 million in 2 months, that's not the average that they've been going at.
Yeah, look here's the exact date. VG Charts on February 21st, 2024 confirmed that CFDs tops 35 million players. That was
2
February
months.
21st of this
Less
year.
than 2 months.
Less than 2 months, dude. 5 million players.
Less than 2 months, dude. But think about that, right? 35 million since 2017, right? Like, that's 7 years. 7 years for 35 million is 5 million a year if you
Yeah.
break that up. And now they just did another 5 million in 2 months just with the idea of it coming back out, putting fresh eyes on it, and it's like, "Oh, wow, look at this game. Let's go out there and let's get it now on Xbox or PC before PlayStation even comes out." And we've already seen where it ranked. It was number 1 pre-ordered game for a long time on PlayStation. You had, now you see that it's in the top 15 really. It's number 12, and again, just beta access happened, right? This is not the release game. It's gonna be it's gonna be wild, but this goes back to, if you remember the Xbox podcast when it was Phil and Matt Booty and Sarah, and Matt Booty made a statement that I think holds very true, where he said that some games are just bigger than one platform. And I've always said that Sea of Thieves, the brand, the name, the style of it, the topic being the pirate situation. Let's not forget that Pirates of the Caribbean is one of the highest grossing films ever created, right? Pirates are a thing that people really love to go watch and be a part of, right? So the fact that they have the pirate theme, but they have the name, perfect name, Sea of Thieves, fucking phenomenal name. That's a brand that just it's awesome, right? The name is crazy. The art style, perfect. It reaches the kids who might be interested in the pirate stuff, and it reaches grown people who just are into it anyway, right? So you have like the catch all for everyone. And it's not leaning in any which way. It's such a broad, kind of a spectrum of fans that it can have, right? Like there's a
Mhm.
lot of people who are open to it. Doesn't matter the age or where they
Kids,
are.
adults, old men like me, even though I don't
Everyone.
play it.
Well,
Yeah. Everyone
the
likes
whole spectrum.
pirates.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, right? At least at some point in your life, you like pirates, right? So, I mean, the fact that it's there, and again, doing the number it's doing, just putting it out in the public eye again. Remember, it's really difficult. The fact that it's grown so much from being out in 2017 is really a big deal, because it's not like outside of the Disney, Pirates of the Caribbean, and then the other one that they came out with, that was it Monkey Island? I think it was. They did
Yeah,
that.
my brother played that. My brother was not into Sea of Thieves, but my brother is a Monkey
Yes.
Island super fan. And the
Yep.
minute that DLC came out, I'm playing Sea of Thieves, and he played it. He loved it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you see the way they've been working, where they've been outside of that, like there was no major update that is something like, "Oh my god, let's go do it. Like let's go be pirates," right? They're all been, updates that the people who were playing it enjoyed, but like nothing to really grab you outside of those, right? So now you've seen the way they've been moving. They've been working on making it where you can play this game by yourself. You can do it in a safe way where you're not kind of constantly getting robbed and all that shit, right? Which is a turn off for a lot of people, right? Like I feel you. Like I'm not like it's something that they've been working towards, and you see it paying off when they did this big beat here, like, hey, guess what, it's going elsewhere. And it was like, oh snap, the fact that it grew 5 million in 2 months just shows you, you put it in front of people in a way where it's making it relevant again. Huge growth, congrats to them. And again, congrats to Phil. This is all making the right moves, man. Like it was smart to take that game and put it elsewhere. You already have games that are elsewhere like that, right? You already have your Elder Scrolls Online. You already have Fallout 76, right? You have these games that live everywhere. See if these 100% the perfect game to go ahead and move that along with. So kudos to them. It's great news for us. It's great news for us because that means that Rare's going to keep being able to make games that they want to make. See if these going to keep going. So for anybody who's into that, great. But they also got Everwild that, who knows what that game is now, but we know
Yeah.
that they did something to change it. They already had a dope ass art style. I wonder if they're keeping that, but like we have a lot to come from Rare. Rare is not dead. Rare is not trapped. They are doing what they love, and when you have developers who do what they love, you get games that we in turn can love. So I'm, very excited to see what comes from it. What other partnerships are they going to be able to make, with the Sea of Thieves,
There's
brand.
a lot of thoughts that I have with that. I think shout out to Rain G4 who's always here. I think it
Oh,
was you,
Range Force
Rain,
Cafe
that asks, does Sony get any cut from this? Yeah, they get 30% of the
from
sales.
the sales. Yeah, from the
Yeah,
sales.
of the sales, and I don't know if the DLC is pay if you have to pay for it, because again, I don't play the game, and I'm been very transparent about that. The game looks gorgeous. I'm so happy that if you're playing it, you're enjoying it. That's freaking awesome. I personally, I don't really dabble in it, and it's just not my thing. So I don't know if there's actual. I know that you can buy stuff. I don't know how
Oh
extensive that
yeah,
is,
they have a whole different
like a
guns,
store,
different
right?
outfits, different
Okay, so you can
boats.
buy. So then, yeah. So
Oh yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
let's say for instance, if you on PlayStation, you're a PlayStation player, you get Sea of Thieves, you buy said outfit, whatever that DLC costs, Sony's getting 30%. They're getting 30% of the sale of the game. They're getting 30% of everything that you buy, whether that be a season pass, whether that be whatever. They get 30%. So yeah, they're
Obviously,
making money
only on
too.
that platform, you know what I'm saying? Only on PlayStation.
Only on
Like, it's
PlayStation,
not
of course,
like they
not
don't have a
anywhere
policy if
else.
it's
Yeah.
across the board, yeah.
Right. And I was
Yeah.
on Xbox, of course, Microsoft gets all the stuff. And speaking of what collaborations, I mean, again, I'm just thinking outside the box here. Remember the movie, the film with Hook? Hook was a great
Ooh,
film.
Captain Hook. Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
that
Disney owns Peter Pan.
they do.
Well, I mean, obviously, that's one of those old IPs from
But
back in the
Peter
day, but
Pan
they
is
have Peter
definitely
Pan,
one.
so they could
This is the
definitely do
one
that.
that, okay, so I'm going to throw this out there. I know people are already. Let me get to the chat because I know people are already saying this. For me personally, like my brother flipped when Monkey Island the DLC was announced. Like he called me up. He was like, "Bro, I can't believe it! I'm playing right now. I'm downloading right now." Like he was so excited. The thing that gets me to play Sea of Thieves, that gets me to fall out of my chair, for me as an old man who went to the theaters to see it, Goonies. If
Goonies?
you can get
I knew
a
you would say it.
freaking Goonies cross, look, I'm getting goosebumps because I'm a big old nerd, folks. I would lose my shit for Goonies because I watch that at least once every year because I'm such a fan of the film, and it's such an amazing classic. If they announce Goonies is crossing over with Sea of Thieves, oh my freaking goodness, I am going to lose it because that's one of my favorite movies. Um, but there are a lot of things in there. There are a lot of crossovers that you can do
Oh, yeah.
that fall in line with pirates. There's plenty of them out there. But
Absolutely.
listen. I'm unbelievably happy to see that again. 40 million players across multiple platforms. That still does not include PlayStation and Nintendo. And I think that the announcement for the Nintendo version is probably going to come the way of the Switch 2, which I think we're going to hear about. I could have sworn I read someone posted that Nintendo has something coming up in the next few weeks. I think I don't know exactly what it is.
They just had an indie direct.
That's what it was. Okay, so then I'm
Yes.
behind. Okay.
Yeah, it
I
was
would
yesterday.
imagine in June. I don't know if they come back to California. I don't know if they're gonna have their treehouse event. I love those. Those are phenomenal. Maybe they bring it back in a big way because they're gonna announce the Switch 2. It would make sense.
I was
I
just talking
think
to
that.
Madman. Madman told me that it was in October that they showed the Switch. So they showed in October, released in April.
Oh,
So
okay. All
so
right.
since they're gonna release 2025, probably early in the year,
Maybe it's fall.
they
We see it fall this year,
yeah,
and then we see it in
they might say
the
fall.
yeah. I mean, I listen. It's great time to be a fan of that game, especially if you are on PlayStation. It's releasing. I don't know the exact release date, but I know it's imminent. And then obviously, they're going to get all of their kinks out of the servers there, and then they're going to get ready for the Nintendo launch. And it's just going to be one of those IPs that just continues to grow. Mind you, this was a game that most people you talk to could care less. And I'm not one of those people. I care about the IP. I'm happy that people are enjoying it. That's what I care about. That you're enjoying it. If you are a pirate legend, if you're not, if you're just enjoying it. But for me, if I'm gonna jump in, you put out there some Goonie DLC, it's a wrap. I'm playing that game like it's going out of style because I'm a big old nerd and I appreciate stuff like that. Um, Look, folks, we had two amazing topics. This show only runs usually around an hour and 5 hour and 10 minutes. I am in the process of finishing writing up tomorrow's Breakfast with Boom. The topics are going to be huge. I think we're going to revisit the Derek Strickland tweet because we're going to have people on there that didn't get a chance to talk about it. I've already said my piece. I think that it is a really big deal. I want to see other media sites pick this up. I'm waiting. I haven't seen it yet. The only one that reported on this was Derek Strickland. Let's see if anyone picks up his story and gives their opinion, like a VGC or a few of the other ones, the game spots or the game rants. We'll see if anyone says that this is actually a perfect view of the turning of the tides. I think that Sony's PlayStation 5 is going to continue to sell. And I don't know if the PlayStation 5 Pro is worth it when you consider how many PlayStation 4 Pro sold versus how many PlayStation 4s. If you didn't know, folks, talked about it last night. I just put up a video that was kind of diced up where we went over the numbers. It's not a lot. There was 117.2 PlayStation 4 sold, right? 117.2 million. That's a lot of consoles, right? But only 14.3 million of those 17 million consoles were PS4 Pros. That's not really good, man. That's not a good. So is it a mistake? Potentially. Is it going to sit on the shelf? Well, if it's $700, you better believe it is, because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it if it was $200. I don't need it. I have my PlayStation 5 works perfectly fine. I don't turn it on enough to go out and spend $700 on a PlayStation 5 Pro. I just don't need it. But with that said, let me make sure that we're all caught up on Super Chats. Oh, Royal Boyle 78, my brother, I salute. How you doing, man? Thanks so much for being here as always. And of course, thank you so much for the very generous $5 Super Chat. And he goes on to say this: good afternoon to my good brothers Boom and C Money. Always here to show support. Hope you are all having a great day. Well, thank you so much for the very kind words. Thank you for the generosity. And it's great to see you in the chat, brother. Thank you so much for that. C Money, let's sell your brand, brother. Obviously, On Point for Gamers is a network of shows that you do on a weekly basis, very much similar to what Double Barrel Gaming does. What's unique about the way that you do it is that you work with your wife on several of your podcasts, but you also have the family come in and it becomes a family thing. And I think that is pretty dope. Sell the brand. Where can people subscribe? Continue to grow that subscription count. And more importantly, follow you on social media.
Absolutely, man. Well, first of all, thanks again, bud. Appreciate you having me on the show. It was a great show. Love coming to chat. It has been a while, so it was cool to be back. But yeah, we as far as I'm C Money Forever, right on Twitter or X. You can come follow me there. But as far as our channel, it's called On Point for Gamers. We have 4 shows that we do a week. Sunday is our morning quest. We do 10 a.m. Eastern times. Doodle, See Money, me and my wife. Just talking gaming, man. Talking to the chat, having a good time. On Tuesdays, we do our Her, Him, and a Guest is our interview show. Her, Him, and a Guest, soon to be Her, Him, and a Dev. Starting April 30th. We're swapping over, and we'll be having developers and publishers on the show, coming to talk about the back end of stuff. What the behind the scenes of what goes on in development and these publishing deals and all that fun stuff. So we're definitely gonna have a good time with that. That's our April 30th. It's gonna be great. And then on Wednesdays, we have our podcast for gaming. It's called On Point, the Gaming Podcast. This Wednesday, we did not have it. So yesterday, we did not have it because we have my daughter's birthday. She turned 15, so that's crazy. But so we did not do it yesterday. So we're actually gonna be doing it today. We're actually gonna doing it tonight. So today's a busy schedule for us. So we're gonna actually be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. So definitely check us out there. Um, and then on Friday nights, we have our show, The Night Shift, Let's Talk Gaming. It's me, Doodle, and Hargeet Shani is our resident guest. And then we have other guests as well. So it's us three, and then typically one or two other guests that we get on. Tomorrow night we're gonna have Doom Cutie join us and Demo Flow
Nice.
Gaming. So it's gonna be dope. So definitely come check that out. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern time, Friday night. And yeah, man, that's us. We're obviously for us, we're an Xbox channel, so we cover Xbox, but we cover things that go on elsewhere as it relates to us for our excitement. So aside from that, thanks guys, we appreciate you. I did drop the link in the chat.
Yes.
Come sub, that would be dope. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, shout out to No Diddy, them cheeks in the chat.
No Diddy,
Shout out
them
to Sir
cheeks.
X-Men. What's going on, brother? Salute to you, fellow gray beard. I actually have a little bit of a beard. I have a little bit of a shadow. It is gray. I can't stand it. But you know what happens when you turn 53, and I'll be 54 this year.
You gotta go full. You need to grow
I can't. 2 days in, I'm scratching like this. I can't stand beards. And Mrs. Boom, they no kisses for the beard. So sorry. I got
because you gotta get past that first hurdle. You know what I'm saying? Like the first hurdle, it's rough, but you go get yourself some creams, some stuff to reduce the itching, and then all of a sudden you're out there looking suave. She's gonna feel like she's with a new situation. You know what I'm saying? Get her ramped up.
It could very well be. Shout out to Wheezy. He said he confirms for me that the DLC is free, Boom, of Sea of Thieves. So thank you. I didn't even know that. I thought that it was maybe some sort of a behind the paywalls. Look at that. It's not. It's free. You just download it and you buy your outfits, and that's how they make their money. It's crazy. It's just crazy. But again, folks, hopefully you enjoyed the show enough to hit the like button. If you are finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. We are on the hunt for 15K, and we can get there with your help by hitting that subscribe button. So a lot of new names here. And again, we have fun. We give you the facts. We read we read directly from the press releases as well as the articles that are written. We give credit for where those articles come from. And obviously we like talking in facts. We do give our opinions, and if you don't agree, that's fine. We don't always have to agree. But again, thank you so much for checking out today's new version or new episode of XVlog Live. You're going to see a lot of new content coming the way of Double Barrel Gaming. I'm doing shorts. I'm cutting a lot of the long version podcasts into smaller, more digestible way of and so again, you don't have to sit through a 2-hour show. You're going to start to see many of the smaller pieces of the shows, and 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and obviously if you're enjoying it, it makes it easier and more digestible for you. People asked for it. Well, we try to oblige, and that's what we're doing now. And of course, a big thank you to all of the super chats and the channel memberships that continue to come in. We are incredibly humbled and grateful for the generosity. And of course, I'm going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day will be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say this: Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of XVlog Live.